Okay, welcome everybody to this evening's with Matthew is a film director and he's also founded his own company. Oh, hi Michael, thanks so much for joining us this evening. How are you?
How are you?
Really good. I'm so happy that you're taking the time out to join me, and I know that we're all spending every waking minute online at the moment. And I know it's another thing to remember, another thing to do. So I really appreciate your time, because I know you're working many evenings, obviously, in this industry. A lot of it kind of starts sort of kind of early evening and carries on until later on, especially for people that are in film, moving image. A friend of mine's a photographer, and his day kind of starts quite late. So I really appreciate it. So I'd like to welcome everybody this evening. This is Michael Kasirivu, who runs his own production company, and he's a film director. And the idea behind these IG Lives is to interview creative professionals about their jobs and what they do. So, Michael, let me begin. Do you mind just introducing yourself and your company, and just let us know a little bit about how long you've been doing it for? When did you start your art business? Yeah.
I started my own business in fact it's like 7 years ago when I started using cameras. When I taught myself how to use cameras, how to edit. But I've been doing this for a long time, since I was a child, since I was running out with camcorder and taking pictures and all. Yeah, it's been yeah.
And is it, did somebody give you a camera for a present or something like that? Or were you using your phone, or what was the situation when you were younger?
Yeah, my dad bought me a camcorder.
Cool. He was a cool dad. That's a very cool present.
That time we didn't know that it's cool. He just the camcorder was there. He said, "Oh, take it. Just, you know how to shoot videos, so just do it."
Wow. And is he in the same industry, or did he just realize that you were really interested in film?
No, we always have a camcorder at home, so and a camera for photography at home, so it's always there. So that's when I picked it up.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I think that really resonates with me as well, because my parents are not really that arty, but they realized I was, and they just always really encouraged it from a really young age. So I think that's really important to have that support, even if your parents are not necessarily artists or filmmakers themselves. So, and you're located in London, aren't you? Which part of London are you in?
It's northeast, which is
okay.
It Brimsdown, but so many people think it's North London, but it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's Enfield.
I thought the same, actually. Maybe there's another place that's really similar sounding. I don't know. But it's good to be kind of, in or near London, I guess, for all sorts of employment opportunities and connecting up with people in the industry. And do you find that the location works for you? Do you find that people are able to visit your studio and things like that?
Yeah, it's easier because of people coming from M25 or people coming from A46. It's easier for them to come to this location because is the safest location I found, and it's not far from my house. So I decided,
Are you in an airport as well?
I didn't care where I will be, but I decided to just have a studio. I just wanted to have a studio because I couldn't edit at home anymore.
No, well, you showed me your equipment earlier, and there's a lot of equipment in there, so I was super impressed. There's no way you could get that in wherever you were living before.
No.
And it's really nice to have a professional environment in which to work, I think. So, yeah. So how did you start your company? Were you already quite established and you had clients that you already worked with, or did you start from scratch? How did that work?
Yeah, I started from scratch, because the UK takes long to embrace filmmakers. I started working, going abroad in mostly Sweden. I used to do filming in Sweden, and then from Sweden, like Denmark and Norway. Like I was going around like the Scandinavian countries, and then Africa, South Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. I work with Nigerians and Ghanaians. Like
You've got a great network.
Yeah, south of Africa, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and there is another country that speak Portuguese. Angola.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. And what about the industry in Nigeria? Like the Nollywood is very big, isn't it? I think it's actually the biggest film industry in the world. Actually, bigger than Hollywood, maybe.
I think right now, it must be, because if you go on Netflix, like all the movies are like they're all Nollywood, most of them.
Yeah, I can imagine. And tell me about your most recent films that you've got out on Amazon Prime, because I watched one of them recently and I thought it was brilliant. So tell me about your recent projects.
They're not really my recent. They're still in the kitchen. I'm still cooking.
All right.
Yeah, because we have a documentary called The Black Fathers. It's coming out soon. And we try to pitch it on Channel 4 or BBC or ITV. And there is one called Before My Heart Stops.
Yeah.
But those two films are put on Amazon Prime, Infatuation and Free Roads. One of the actors, I work with another producer called filmmaker Tash. And we work together well. She brings us. She's a writer, so she brings projects and we work on it, and we make money that way. But the other part, Free Roads, I work with a guy in Top Boy. In Top Boy, it's called Driss, but his real name is Sean Ramirez. In Top Boy, so that one is my business partner. So we do movies together, and then. Yeah, that's his first film, and people were so surprised that he didn't do any kind of gang stuff. Like it was all love and relationship in the film. So people were so surprised that he could do that type of movie.
Okay, so sounds like, do you work with the same writers quite a lot? You have your favourites maybe, and people that you work with really well.
Yeah, I'm open to most of the writers. If the ideas, even when the ideas is bad, to my knowledge and my understanding, I can make the movie look different from what initially is. So I try to make it as nice as possible. Even the structure, I try to structure the movie different than what the writer intended to. And sometimes we disagree, of course, it's there, but most of the time I know what works.
Absolutely. So you have quite a lot of creative input actually in the whole process of producing and creating the actual material, the film material. That's really interesting. So would you describe yourself as a filmmaker and producer, or what would be your kind of description of your, because it sounds quite varied.
I would describe myself as a filmmaker, because filmmakers do everything. I'm a colorist, first of all. I'm a DP or DOP.
Yeah.
I write. I don't know. So I'm a filmmaker. I'm a filmmaker. That's period. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because I know, well, a lot of people now sort of have these really complicated job titles, and you just don't know what they do. I mean, when we meet somebody at a party and they tell you what they do, and you go, "Oh my God, what's that?" So it's good to have a very clear, job title that everybody can understand, I think. So that's good.
It depends. It depends. Because I run my own company, so some people who have really job titles that they can describe, they just employed. They can say, okay, I'm a VP, or I'm a director, or like I supervise scripts, like writing and all of that. Like, but people who are self-employed and you know you create your own company, like sometimes it's difficult to find your job title because
Yeah,
by the time
absolutely.
you create a company, you know everything. You view the camera, you know what shots are better for the film. You know how your like the whole cinematic cinematography. First of all, there is filmmaking, but then being a cinematographer is different. Like you know
Hmm.
what color goes to the movie, like what kind of movie, what kind of colors suit a certain movie. So you have to be able to describe that and then portray that for people to connect with the film.
Absolutely. And also over time, you know, your job can actually change as you learn new things, as you meet new people.
Yeah,
And I know that recently you started a degree program as well at Rosebroof College, so that's really interesting.
yeah.
And was the idea behind that, because you're obviously you're quite successful already, and I just wondered, was the idea behind that to sort of expand on the knowledge that you already have?
Yeah, first of all, everything I know, I'm self-taught. I push boundaries to learn things, and with a common sense, everything comes natural. But I just wanted to know the grassroots, like where do I come to this point? So I started from here. Now I'm going back down to understand the theory part of it, and the way I went back, I'm doing animation now. So to be
Sure.
able to do films and incorporate with them with the virtual reality.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
why I'm buying so many books about about
Wow.
animation and all. Yeah,
There's an awful lot of reading to do, I can
yeah,
imagine. And it's
a
really
lot.
interesting that you've mentioned animation, because I
Mm.
have a big background from Bristol. So I'm not from Bristol, but a lot of my family have
Yeah,
lived there. I lived there for a little while, and huge amount of my family history is based there. And I know that there's a really big animation industry down in Bristol, and probably in London as well. So I just wondered how this year has changed your working practice. Have you found that it's been okay during the pandemic, or have you had to change any of your working practices to kind of fit into the current climate?
yeah. Even before the pandemic, I decided that I want to do more films with less people because the
Sure.
more people you put in the film, the more disappointing you get or disappointed you get because people disappoint. You give
Right.
them parts and they never turn up, and you're like, okay, no, I have to find a different strategy on how to approach movie making. So if I'm
Right.
supposed to do a film with 5 people, I'm gonna stick to 5 people, and
Sure.
if the rest of the people wants to come, even though they don't come back, they're extras. I wouldn't care, but I need to concentrate on these 5 people to make sure I produce something that is really interesting and valuable. So no one is
Yeah.
gonna be, I won't turn up, okay, I'm not coming. But you're given a job. First of all, so many people audition, like hundreds of people. And then you pick these 5 people. And like the UK is kind of funny because people are not serious, actors are not serious. Some of them follow that like trailers. Okay, my friend is going to audition. Let me follow. Maybe I can try this type of stuff. Oh, maybe I'm not committed. Like, oh, maybe. And then some girls like they audition, they're single, and then all of a sudden they find a boyfriend. Oh, I did a scene. I don't think I want it in there. Like my boyfriend. Oh, like, you just made this
Oh
person
my
8 ago or a month.
goodness.
Why do you care? Like, just you done a scene. You cannot come back and waste people's time. In real,
Absolutely. I think
yeah,
that's really interesting, actually, and it is something that I've noticed over the years, that you have to surround yourself with reliable work
yeah,
colleagues. Well, and even if somebody is interning or they're a volunteer on the project that you're working on, absolutely, you have to have reliable people. You can't have people just doing a couple of hours and then getting bored
yeah. There
of
are some people. There are some
leaving
people.
you alone.
There are some people that really I'm keeping. And I can see some of them are on here, like they really,
Sure, okay.
they know what they want.
Sure.
Other people, like Americans are so serious when they come to the UK, and like they will do something, like they will be there.
Sure.
But
Yeah, I think there is different approach, absolutely, with our
yeah,
American cousins. And that's really interesting that you brought that up. I used to work with a lot of American students in one of my previous jobs, and there was definitely a different style of communication. And one thing I noticed in the UK, if you say to someone, "Oh yeah, let's meet up for a drink or have a meal," it doesn't matter whether you do it or not. But then someone told me that if you say that to an American or people from certain countries in the world and you don't actually follow through, they can be really offended by that. So that was quite interesting, like cultural differences, and I think you're quite right there. So do you feel that you have actors that you prefer to work with as well? Do you sort of build up a relationship with various people that you'd like to work with in the future?
yeah, I do. I speak to some famous ones. We've not really found a project to work on, but they're really interested in my way of approaching work and doing films. So yeah, we're still talking, but anytime we try to come up with some different ideas, like the lockdown happens.
Brilliant. I'm desperate to know who they are, but I'll ask you later after the interview. But I'm sure you have to be very discreet as well in the industry. And it's interesting because I just literally turned off the news, and Tom Cruise has been, I don't know if you've seen that, today or the other day, he did something and he's been recorded, because everything is recorded now, isn't it? And you have to be so careful of, you know, the information or the people that you work with, because you want to have a professional reputation at the end of the project. So that's really interesting. So you haven't found that the pandemic has really affected you too much? You've still been able to carry on working?
In the beginning,
yeah.
When before the lockdown, I went through a little bit of icky, like, you know.
Yeah.
Was so frustrated. I'm like, okay, where am I gonna get money to pay for all this? And then I was like stressed, but you know, it lasted for like a few, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But then magic happens. Like I've done so much that I didn't know that I'll be able to do.
Sure, we've all managed to sort of squeeze in so much more work.
Yeah, and I learned more to do more work in my studio. Good. Just having one person to interview one person, just one person, that is an amazing piece of work. Like just sit there and know how to light up someone, and having all those key lights, and you know, all this, like I'm learning every day. And doing music videos, like one person music video, it's okay because we're not getting close.
Yeah.
And yeah, instead of before having like so many people gathering around and shoot a music video, now you can just have one person, and you have to explain. You have to explain to them why they need one only. I need you to be in a music video. We don't need hundreds of people. So you have to them to understand, to make them understand the situation, or maybe understand that the video will be concentrated on them, so people out there will know, they will be like knowing who they are exactly, not just concentrate on, okay, other girls are dancing, or this person is taking off the shirt, or like people pay attention to different stuff that you put in the film. But for me, I learned the way to find a perspective on how to concentrate on the artist, so the artist won't be forgotten. So yeah, I've done a lot. I've done a lot in my studio, and it's really working.
That's cool. What was I going to say? Do you do any promotions? It sounds like you've got quite a lot of, you know, really wide network already. You're quite established. Do you do any kind of social media promotion or anything on your website, or do you find that all of your business comes through kind of word of mouth?
Yeah,
through people that you know.
Word of mouth works. I think it's better than social media, or because most of the people I get contacted every day, like hundreds of people. Can you do this for me? And then I'm like, yeah, I can, and I explain that, but they never come back.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, they never come back, and most of the people they like to like, oh, can you be part of my? I'm starting up something, and can you be part of it? I'm like, listen, I said in my stuff already. Like, why are you coming to me to start your new stuff? Like, I'm established already. Why am I joining your stuff? Yeah,
Sure.
you just new. You don't know the business, and you want me to like to come and join you. Like, what about my stuff? When am I gonna get time to deal with my stuff? Look, it's different. People come up with different type of I don't know.
No, I totally understand. What about do you have any tips for people that are starting out in the industry? Is there anything that you learned along the way that you'd like to kind of pass, pass on and kind of
That's a difficult
knowledge?
That's a difficult one because everyone has their own way of talking to customers.
Sure. Yeah. Agreed.
Advice to people on how to do business. Sometimes some people like I say, they follow the crowd.
Yeah.
Like they have ideas. Okay, if I do start a YouTube channel, I'm gonna get all this and make money because I see other people making money. Yeah, like they make like 30,000 a day. That's ridiculous. That who does that? Yeah, it's not real. Yeah, people, they don't show how they started. They don't talk about it. Because it takes like really a big heart to buy a camera, like £1,000 camera. Like to buy your first camera is not easy. Yeah, but people don't even think about that. When they come, or some people come to me and they're like, okay, can you shoot something small for me? I'll shoot it and edit it because I do it quick. They think it's easy. So the next day they will call me, oh, I don't think I'm going to do that. I've decided I'm going to buy my own equipment and do that myself. And I'm like, it's fine. I'll give you advice on how to do that. Yeah, on what camera to buy first. And, then they go start checking the lights. £1,000. The camera, more than £1,000. The cheapest one, £700. And they keep on going. Like, by the time they know they're spending like $5,000, they're like, oh, I prefer to give you money and do it for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, just be careful on kind of which equipment you buy, because I can imagine, like you said, you could just the sky's the limit in terms of the equipment that you could use, and there's always a better light or a better camera or a better lens or a better something.
Even just to film with a mobile phone, you have to know what mobile phone you have to buy. You can't say, okay, Samsung got a good picture. Okay, let me buy a Samsung and shoot my videos. But people don't understand that when you do videos on your mobile phone, like the compression, mobile phone, like if you film with a mobile phone in 4K, 4K is so compressed, it would take 4 hours to render.
Wow.
Yeah. But if you shoot with an Ari, let's say Alexa or Red or Blackmagic or maybe a GH5, it would take like half an hour or maybe half an hour for like an hour and a half video. And then with a music video, which is like 3 minutes, it will take like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to render. But the mobile phone will take like 4 hours because it's so compressed that you have to take it through a process to make it a bit lighter for that to render quickly.
That's really interesting. And then, of course, in some countries, in some films that are made, I'm just thinking of the Florida Project, which is that some part of that film, they actually went into Disneyland and you're not allowed to film in Disneyland. And they incredibly managed to film, on a mobile phone, undercover, nobody could see the phone. And then it's really interesting to know that quality of film would then have had to be edited and it would take so long for that to actually be edited. And of course, in other countries, you know, the government regimes, you may not actually be allowed to film in certain locations. So you might have to use a mobile phone and do it really discreetly. Do you find that you have access to most, if you know, pre-coronavirus, if you wanted to book something in the UK, do you find it quite an easy place to work in as a filmmaker, or have you found any restrictions here or in any other countries that you've had to work around?
Yeah, I've been, like I was helping some, like a few months ago, we were filming, I was helping out to film this film called All I Need. And then, yeah, we were filming, but I made sure like people have space in between them. So the police came, and then we're all covered. Our faces are covered, but apart from the actors, and they saw nothing wrong. But then I went to film somewhere, and then this time they just decided to paint the guns because their company is not registered. My company is registered, but you're not allowed to paint unless your company is registered. And you go to hire all these guns to use to right.
Right.
So then you get a problem, and sometimes you have to do things in a certain way because if you decide, if you like you see, they went to Disney and film with a mobile phone with no one knowing, but sometimes with a mobile phone they will know that you're filming, but if you have a GoPro, sometimes they don't even know.
Right.
You can put a GoPro in you or hold it because it got stabilizer, inbuilt stabilizer, so you'll be able to film in so many places.
Yeah.
But the other thing is you have to plan. The planning is so crucial because if you don't plan how to shoot in that kind of way in places where you're not allowed to film, you have to be sliced on point because you have to plan it beforehand. Say, okay, from this point and this point, you're gonna be doing this, you'll be doing this, doing that. Cause like in Central London, most of the time, if you step behind the pillar, it's private property, but then you have to step out. So sometimes the actor has to go step on the other side, but you, the cameraman, has to stay on this side and make sure you have the right lens to get a good picture at that moment because you need that place, you need that scene.
Sure.
So the actor has to go on the other side so you have the best lens and you stay on this public place and shoot.
Okay.
But you have to make sure you go through all that and explain to the actors that you know you have to be on point, no wasting time.
Absolutely.
Because some people really waste too much time.
So my last question, I mean, this has flown by and I'm really enjoying talking to you, so I don't want to finish, but we always keep them to 30 minutes, which is a shame because I'm loving this conversation. And my final question to you is quite a big one, and it's, where would you like to be in 5 or 10 years' time? What would you like to do?
One, you know?
No pressure, Michael.
That's another difficult one because everything changed like before, you know, when the pandemic changed. People who had plans, okay, in 5 years I'll be here, they're like down.
Absolutely.
But for me, it's all about working, like being consistent. And I know where I was last year and I know where I am now.
Yeah.
Even though we had a pandemic, and I know where I am. I'm in a far bigger place than last year. And I think better.
Yeah.
I cracked business in a certain way that worked. So I know I'll be better in 5 years' time. I'll be way better. I'll stop working hard, and I'll employ people. More people will be coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
To do because I have to have people that really will have the same understanding of what kind of cinematography I like and what works for me in my brand, on what I feel are best on and what people like. because
Yeah,
I have a particular kind of style that I have that other people don't. Like with my
sure.
movies, if you, as you see my movies have more moving shots than normal. That which doesn't distract you from the film, but just enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I get the impression from talking to you today, Michael, that your dedication to your craft is kind of really embedded in a kind of you've really I feel like it's sort of quite a deep relationship that you have with your practice, that you're always kind of informing yourself, teaching yourself about new methodology that you can kind of implement to make your work better. And I think that's really interesting. As an artist, that's really kind of come across in our conversation today.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's been as you know, you've been
Yeah, no,
supporting me for a long time, and even
it was
before
really
I
exciting because
started my
it's
degree.
my first time of
Yeah,
speaking with you, like kind of in depth, and we met kind of online over the summer, I think. And it's just really interesting to get to know you better. And I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
yeah, thank you too.
Yeah, and
It's
let's
been
try and
amazing.
reconnect next year and do another Instagram live. It'd be great. And then in a few
Yeah,
months.
definitely we can do it again. Definitely.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, have a lovely evening. Thank you
You
so
too.
much. And speak to you soon. Thanks,
All right.
Michael. See you soon. Bye.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for joining us.